Welcome, everybody. From Bitcoin maximalists to altcoin enthusiasts, this is Joseph Wagner, and here is our Bitcoin Minute for May 19th, 2023. So strap right in and let's get to it. But before I get too carried away with the technicals, I simply can't make a show about Bitcoin without going over the BRC-20 revolution that's come about recently. I'm sure most, if not all of you guys are aware of what ERC-20 tokens are. They're basically tokens that are minted on the Ethereum chain. So one of the cool features about Ethereum all along was these ERC-20 frameworks in which a user can create his own or mint their own coins, just as easy as they would, say, minting an NFT on Ethereum. But then, of course, with the gas fees, deploying a new coin on Ethereum can be a little bit more pricey than these BRC-20 tokens. I'm sure most of you have also recognized, used, or at least heard of Uniswap. So, if we go to ecosystem, we see it's more than just swapping coins. As you can see, there's wallets, there's aggregators, there's dApp for decentralized application, and of course there's DeFi protocols in here, which were big in the summer of 2020. So, how does Bitcoin build out something like this Uniswap? Well, this is their answer to that, and it's called Unisat. Now, this has just been created just a matter of months ago. Here's where you can create your own BRC-20 coins and deploy new tokens. ERC-20 stands for Ethereum Request for Comment 20. It was proposed in 2015, so it's had a very big head start on these BRC-20 tokens, which have just popped up in the last few months. BRC-20 stands for Bitcoin Request Comment. And if you look past the thousands and thousands of BRC-20 coins that are probably going to be worthless eventually, you can't help but see the potential when you look past that. The potential for Bitcoin and its blockchain to function more like Ethereum with its capabilities. Now, anyone can mint an NFT on the Bitcoin blockchain. They could, of course, create their own coins and deploy them. And anybody who wants any of these coins that were deployed by someone else, all they have to do is simply 9 out of 10 times pay the transaction fee. So if I wanted to mint some sats, all I would have to do is click mint directly, and if I wanted to make a new token, it would be deploy. But since, let's say we just wanted to mint some sats, you can see that the maximum amount available to mint at any one time has been defined already, and it's been defined by the creator who deployed these coins. So if we wanted to mint 100 million sats, how much would that cost us? It would cost us the transaction fee on the Bitcoin blockchain, which now would equal to about $3.49. Now, it was very expensive, much higher than this last month when this whole ecosystem was just popping up. And for the first time in years, miner revenue came more from transaction fees than from block rewards, which is promising because if Bitcoin is ever going to last eternity, it's going to need to find a way to pay the miners in the future once all the coins have been minted. These new coins, see how they've performed and see if you're interested in what they're doing. And as you can see, only 1.88% has been minted. Now, most of these coins have a supply cap of 21 million. This one, I believe that's 21 quadrillion. And as you can see, there has been a lot less than that mined. And you can mine 100 million per mint for about $3. So if we wanted to dive deeper into this, we could look at its token details. And these are the number of holders, about just a little under 10,000. And these are the addresses with the relative amount of sats that they hold. Now, as you can see, even the greatest amount held by a single wallet is 3%. And I'm sure if you go back to even the third page, it's going to get very slim here. You get the picture. Anyways, all this new excitement has flooded the blockchain and really brought traffic to its highest point in a long time. As you can see right down here, the daily number of transactions on the chain, look at this spike. This right here was from the BRC20 tokens. And going back even to 2009, or since the creation of Bitcoin, we have never seen so many transactions occur on this chain. So it's really just bringing a whole new flood of capital and adopters into the space, and that's fine. The bigger it is, the better it is for all of us. What it did do this month and last, though, is look at the daily average block size also spiked to an all-time high, which congested the market, and that's where we got the transaction fees for these coins, or just transaction fees period, on Bitcoin's blockchain, reaching never before seen levels where it was truly expensive to send Bitcoin. At one time, I think it was around $100 to just do a transaction, because the layer 1 was so congested with these new BRC20 tokens. So the functionality, as I said before, is still pretty bare bones. Basically, what you see here on ERC20 tokens, you can set the max amount ever to be minted. You can set the cap, so to speak. You can set the amount that can be minted at once. You could basically just do a few things so far, but this is just the beginning of where this is going with Bitcoin. I mean, we don't have true smart contracts yet, but just a week ago, they launched the ORC20 protocol, which gives it even more capabilities, and it's only been a few months. So I can see this time next year, Bitcoin's blockchain having basically all of the bells and whistles that Ethereum has, but going to be better because it's on Bitcoin, of course. So what did that do to the price of Bitcoin? And this right here is the roadmap to doing such. Let's step back from these coins that have, right as of now, little to nil actual use case. The framework that this BRC20 protocol has brought to Bitcoin is truly going to change the game, because we're still in the early phases here, people. Now, what did that do to the price when these things started to launch? So back to our daily candlestick chart. The real true meme coin craze on BRC20's protocol occurred at the beginning of March, mid-March. And as you can see here, that's right where the low for the last 4 months was. And as you can imagine, if the transactions are record numbers and the miners are earning record amount of profit, the coin is probably going to go up in value as well, and it did. So let's get back to our technicals. So let's put up some of the technical indicators that I'm looking at. First of all, this trend channel that we have been in since the beginning of this year, as a matter of fact. So over 5 months, we have been trading in this large trend channel, as you can see, obviously to the upside. Recently, however, we've been testing the bottom level of support constantly. And today, as you can see, we are literally right there at the bottom of this trend channel. So this is a logical place that we could see a pivot, and that wouldn't surprise me. But if we do get a break below this lower trend line, I think we are definitely going to visit at least $25,000 and test some support down there before moving higher again. However, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and this trend channel could still hold. So let's look at some other technicals that I've noticed over the last week. This is a Fibonacci retracement I just put up, and it goes over this entire move in this channel for the entirety of 2023. Now, as you can see, we were holding above the 23% retracement rather nicely. We tested it a bunch of times here, a couple times it held here, but we finally did get a break below that on the day of our last video, May 11th. And since then, we have been trying desperately to hold this. And as you can see, the 23% retracement is now acting as resistance. So with the 23 as resistance right here and the lower trend line as support right here, that tells me there's energy built up, and it is very close to the apex, folks. So it is either going to go much higher or much lower very swiftly when it either breaks above this 23% retracement or below this trend line. And there's another level of support that coincides with this trend line here. Let me put up our moving averages. Here we have our 100-day moving average in blue. And as you can see, it also has acted as support recently. And not only that, it acted as support right here in March. The 100-day moving average is interesting. It is interesting because if it continues to hold above the 100-day moving average, that just makes it more likely that the breakout might be to the upside. However, I'm not holding my breath yet, and I could easily foresee 25,000 being retested. After this tremendous rally, Bitcoin only retracing so far about 28%, 25% is very, very bullish for the coin. I mean, this was a huge move. And for it not to have at least a 50% retracement, which would be to 23,000, that's a very shallow retracement if it only reaches even 25,000, which would be the 38% retracement. So it had all that momentum from this new technology, and it is held at these higher price levels. The purple line we have in here is our 20-day exponential moving average, and that, my friends, is why I have not issued any buy signals as of yet, because really we want to see pricing above this 20-day exponential moving average to give us real, true confidence that it is moving higher. As you can see, the 20-day exponential is getting closer and closer to this 23%, just as the 100-day moving average is getting closer and closer to this support trend line. So the apex is quickly approaching, and there's nowhere to run but up or down. But if we get a break above this 23%, especially if we get a break above this 20-day exponential moving average, that would be a good indicator to pull the trigger and go long. If you wanted to short the market, a break below the 100-day moving average would be a significant enough bearish technical indication, and shorting the market upon a break of the 100-day moving average is also not a bad idea. Will it close out the month of May above 30,000 like I predicted last week? I still think it will. I will talk to you guys next week. This has been Joseph Wagner for another edition of the Bitcoin Minute. We'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.